Good morning, everybody. It's very early. I guess it's not very early anymore. It's 6:17 a.m. Yes, I still have my head tie on because, hitting the gym. So on today, let me turn that down and let me open this window. So on today, we have the moon. And when I say ingress, good morning, beauty queen. How are you, Miss Bianca? So gorgeous. So, yes, the moon's ingress into Aries. So, what happens when the moon goes into Aries? Well, first of all, let's talk a little bit about the moon. The moon is the mind, not to be confused with Mercury. Mercury's reading, writing, how we learn. The mind is separate, okay, in a sense. So you can also think of the moon of how we deal, we can be on some shit like our sun is paving the way, right? But our moon is how we really feel about some shit. Like, thank you, you too. So the moon, it is attached to feelings, okay? So it's our habitual habits. It's really what we need to feel emotionally secure, right? But it's also how we deal with people beneath the surface, okay, when we're not dealing with our sun. So we have a transit right now, which means that the moon, the sun is in Virgo, so a lot of people know that as Virgo season, right? And so we have, what do we have when we have Aries, right? Let's talk about that. So Aries occupies the first house naturally, right? Aries is sincerely the first sign of the zodiac, if you will, at least in exoteric astrology. Aries is about the self. It is all about, it's a cardinal sign, so it's about initiating, okay? It's ruled by Mars. Mars is the planet of war. This is why sometimes people will say, oh, Aries energy is crazy. No, it's the planet of war, okay? Warlike mentality, warrior, right? But willing to go the extra mile. Aries is willing to tread waters unknown. Well, not me, not waters, but I'll tread territories. I can swim and shit, but y'all know what I mean. So anyway, Aries can also be established energy. So I'm giving you the Aries energy so that we can put the moon and the Aries energy together. So now we're shifting. The moon is already in Aries. So now our hearts and our minds is focused on what we want. The moon can be really nasty when it wants to be. That moon part of us wants what we want by any means necessary. So when we talk about having, okay, let me tell y'all this. I have the sun. I'm going to tell you, it's two aspects right now that the moon, two aspects that the moon is making at this time. One is the sun square Saturn, and the other is, moon square Saturn. Excuse me, and the other is the sun in conjunct the moon. Okay. So I have this placement. Okay, I have the moon in conjunct. The sun in conjunct the moon, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I have this natally, but it's slightly different, the meaning, okay? Similar, but not the same. So when we have it in conjunction, it's basically, let me get to my notes. Let's use these notes here. But so we might be more inclined. Let me finish wrapping up the Aries aspect of it. So we want our needs met. Okay, it's like we don't really want to hear what anybody else has to say. It's my way, because the moon is the part of us that will have a temper tantrum. Okay, so our sun. Okay, our sun sign is our ego, our personality, what have you. So when we have, it's the characteristics in which we identify with. So when we have the sun in conjunct the moon, we have a head-heart conflict. Okay, so and it's an inconjunct, so it's like one big quincux. This person can feel one way, right? Deep down, they really feel, they might really like a person, but their actions will show differently. Or maybe, you know, they're going so hard for what they want or whatever that they don't realize that it's not lining up with how they sincerely feel. At least that's not how it's perceived by the other individual. So this is the energy that we are under right now. So on today, the sun inconjunct the moon, we have head-heart conflict. We might want something, and then this other person is sort of like, they're not, it's sort of like, it's easy to misunderstand this energy. It's easy to misunderstand others and what they want. We really have to adjust our angle today. Okay, so if, you know, to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, of course, we already know, it's so cliche, is insanity. So, you can experience, if you experience some sort of annoyance today, how can you go about getting what you want? Because if you're doing it the same way and this person's not being receptive to what it is, that the way you're going about it, then it's time to change. You got to shift the angle, or else you're not going to get what you want. Be conscious of your choices. Be aware, because this energy is irritating. It's and it's not evident. So when we're dealing with others, they may not necessarily say exactly what it is, but kind of like expect you to know in a sense, but it's not that evident. Okay, so. It's getting hot out here already. It's only fucking, I didn't even sip on this coffee. It's 6:24. Well, how is it hot? This shit don't make no sense. Okay. So we want to integrate the whole purpose, well, not the whole purpose, but how we can manage in this energy effectively is to mesh the energies, the sun and the moon. Okay, so that would be adjusting our angle and letting go, like, you know, unless you like being dragged through the mud. You know, outside of that, you want to just kind of let go and let God. And channel the energy appropriately. So this is why I'm at the gym this early. I know I have need of channeling my energy. My natal chart ruler is Mars. My progressed chart ruler is Venus. And you can see right there, Mars, Venus, okay? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Mars is the planet of war. Venus is the planet of what we love and value, how we love, blah, 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 the type of partner that we like, so on and so forth. I'm trying to balance those energies. Venus is that feminine, the feminine qualities thereof. So, point is that we want to balance and find a way to relieve the stress, okay? And be willing to go an alternate route to get what you want, because that Aries energy is going to be like, no, I want it now. And wanting it now, you might get it now, and it's not exactly what you want, versus being able to wait it out, going for that Venusian, more Libran energy, okay? Because Aries wants it now. Okay, so now we got the moon square Saturn. So when we have the moon square Saturn, again, we already know what the moon is. Now it's squaring Saturn. Saturn is about tradition. The best way I can describe it for those that don't know what Saturn is or the energy it generates. Saturn delays, but it does not deny. Delays, but it doesn't deny. You cannot get past Saturn. You either get on your knees or you get dealt with Saturn. You cannot pull the wool over Saturn's eyes. Saturn is the Joe Jackson of planets. It is the Matthew Knowles, okay? Which, interestingly enough, I believe Matthew Knowles is a Capricorn. And I'm not sure about Joe Jackson. Hey, Lisa. All you heard was Joe Jackson, right? Good morning, Lisa. And I was listening to some... You know what song just came on, Lisa? Sorry, y'all. I got to say this. You know what song just came on and I was in here cracking up? I got a man. I'm not trying to hear that. Yeah, I don't know. And that shit made me think about you. I don't know why. So anyway, moon square... I'm so happy you're joining me this morning, Lisa. Moon square Saturn. So that right now, Saturn is in Capricorn. It's its natural placement in the sky, right? Natural house placement would be in the 10th. So let me just tell you a little bit about these energies. So we have the moon, which is our how we're dealing beneath the surface. We've got Saturn, which is calling us to be more strict, more routine, to do things a certain way. So I have a few examples here. So Aries is free. Capricorn, Saturn, Moon in Aries is free, right? Or let's just say the Aries energy is free. The Capricorn energy is restrictive, and it requires structure. Aries wants it right now. Saturn wants to plan today and work toward it slowly and methodically. Aries gives into the moment. Saturn will sit it out and wait it out. And then you have Aries wants, it'll initiate. It's more about like the freelance. And then Saturn is about the appropriate time and the 9 to 5, if you will. Okay. So we have the Moon in Aries, Saturn in Capricorn. So we have this is amazing. But here's the thing. And I'm being sarcastic. When we have the Moon square Saturn, hold on. We have, here we go. It's like, sort of like somebody might, the energy's on today. It's best to stick to a routine. The things that are going to, again, channel this energy, keep our minds right. Keep our minds at some kind of peace. Oh, I'm getting hot. I'll have to put this back on. But yeah, so now the Moon and Saturn, it's like the mother who's like really cool. This energy, that's the Moon is the mom who's just really cool, and Saturn is Joe Jackson. And so it's sort of like the mom has to like cover up, the fact that she gave the kids the cookies, or, so in essence, with this energy, we want to just be magnificent on today. We want to sort of like utilize the art of war, if you will. If you want something from Saturn, you have to be in the routine of Saturn. You have to do things traditionally. You have to have structure. So, and a square causes enough friction. It causes enough of a challenge. It grabs our attention enough to where we got to say, we're like, oh shit, this requires some sort of action like now. Or it requires me to think about it and not act, or have a better plan of action, because it's a Moon square Saturn. So some other things would be, and the square is a tough aspect. It's a challenging aspect. So we might be hesitant to reveal our true feelings on today, because we're not sure of how others may be receptive to them, or we tell our feelings to an individual and they're like, okay. The way that they react is sort of like they could actually give a fuck, but it may not feel that way because it's so Saturnian, the way that they react. This is about, again, keeping up our boundaries. Have boundaries, okay? Do not let people suck up all of your time. Be mindful of other people's time. Be respectful of other people's time. Some others today, we might be in situations where we feel like, another individual is being a wet blanket. Let's consider our value system and what it's worth, okay? And we might be inclined to be quite cynical on today. I'm sweating. So, anyway, and there may be some anxiety prevalent. And we might feel the need to be a little judgmental. And be mindful, because, like I said, misunderstandings may be at an all-time high today. They might be a little stress and worry, but, stick to the structure. Keep your mind right. And those are the morning moonbeams, the aspects to the moon, the moon's ingress into Aries and all that good. I got to go do my workout because I got to be somewhere in an hour. Later, y'all.